day 13 of Surah Yasin. We're reaching the end of Surah Yasin, subhanAllah. Only 2 more pages. So please make sure to tune in every single day at 5:30, inshallah, for this surah, this blessed surah, subhanAllah. Inna ashab al-jannati. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He talks about death and how sudden it is, and then resurrection, and how that will happen with the trumpets being blown, the horns being blown. So He continues, He says, Inna ashab al-jannati al-yawma fi shughulin fakihun. Indeed, the people of paradise today, are you talking about Jannah, in Jannah? Fi shughulin fakihun, are in a undescribably pleasurable occupation. So this is that which the eye has never seen, and the ear has never heard, and has never passed on the hearts of anyone, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Prophet describes it. It's that which includes whatever they are pleased with, whatever they want, whenever they want. Castles and gardens, and servants and women, and everything that they desired in the dunya and could not imagine, right? In the akhirah, they get that. Now, it can also be those who are busy with the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gazing at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's countenance, because we know that there are the majority of paradise will be given fields and farmland and an entire, basically, dominion as far as they can see, and they can witness every part of it at the same time. So their eyesight ability will be increased, and there will be others though who are taken to gaze at the countenance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the madhar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's countenance, the tajalli of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that. So that is, it depends on the person, and it depends on their rank. And for some, that, spending time in castles, and that might please them. For others, they only want to be with their beloved. They only want to gaze at their beloved. And any other pleasure, right, is below that. لَيْسَ قَصْدِي مِنَ الْجِنَانِ نَعِيمًا إِنَّمَا أُرِيدُهَا لِأَرَاكَ. Right? I have no intention of paradise to have any pleasure, except, right, that I want it to look at you. Right? This is one of the awliya, he mentions this. هُمْ وَأَزْوَاجُهُمْ فِي ظِلَالٍ. They and their spouses in shade, in perpetual shade. عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ. On these on silk beds, so beds with a silk cover over it, مُتَّكِئُونَ, reclining like kings. لَهُمْ فِيهَا فَاكِهَةٌ. They will have fruit. وَلَهُمْ مَا يَدْعُونَ, and whatever they call. And it mentions that whenever they call something, it comes immediately. And even if they want a child, so if someone wants a child, it doesn't have to go through their spouse. There's no labor, there's no pain, there's no delay. They immediately are given a child at any stage that they want a child, without any pain, without any difficulty. And because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows, and we know that people, that children is one of the biggest blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's one of the greatest pleasures in this world is our children. Right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them. So that is guaranteed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salam. Salam, peace. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send salutations upon them. Min qawlan min Rabbir Rahim. A word from a merciful Lord. Subhanallah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will complete the reward, i.e. the reward in reality will only be complete with His salutation. And what an honor it is to hear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's salutation, and this is without a barrier. So of course there is still a manifestation of Allah, but it will not be through any of the normal sense perceptions that we're accustomed to, or through a barrier like the bush, the burning bush, the fire that Musa alayhi salam, when Musa spoke to Musa, it will be direct. It'll be direct. And this will be, for others, it'll include Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's witness, witnessing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it'll be an absolute pleasure one that is undescribable. There's nothing greater than that, and this is perpetual. So one of the scholars, he mentions that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is sending salutations on His servants never ends. We just can't hear it right now. So what happens in the فَبَصَرُكَ الْيَوْمَ حَدِيدٌ, right? That when we pass away, there will be a tremendously increase in our sense perception and the uncovering of veiled realities, the uncovering of secrets. So our eyesight will be able to see that which we are not normally seeing. We could see the ghaib, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can perceive Him. And our hearing, right, will also, right, have a different quality, where we are hearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's perpetual salutation upon us. And it's only through the salutation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends us that we exist, that we are Muslims, that we believe. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, subhanallah. So our entire existence returns to the salutations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it. And why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send salutations upon us? What is one of the reasons that we know? When we send salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he sends 10 salutations upon us. So imagine that the greatest blessing and pleasure that one can have in paradise is hearing the salutations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we can gain that by sending salutations upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we do not understand who the Prophet ﷺ is. We do not understand who this man was, ﷺ, and we never will. We never will. Right? So it's these ayahs that just give us a glimpse of the prophetic being, the Muhammadan spirit, the Muhammadan light, the Muhammadan ethos, the Muhammadan soul, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this Muhammadan reality is the essence and of the universe. It's why the universe, for him, the universe was created, and through him we receive mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The last thing that's mentioned here is that, and there's a lot that can come from these ayahs, but Rabb and Rahim. So Rabb is the one who takes you, right, from one stage to another in the most gentle and perfect manners. So this is indicative of the entire process that we heard in the last few pages. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He put you through this entire process of this stage of going through life of worshiping Him. And now you're here and you're hearing the salutations of Allah through His mercy. Rabbin Rahim. How merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. That we didn't deserve this at all, and look how He is honoring His servants. Look how He is honoring them for that which they don't deserve. So the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolutely manifest on this day. Subhanallah. Now, there are other ways of interpreting these ayahs. So we can talk about paradise after the Day of Judgment, but it can also refer to right now. So today, the people of paradise, those who are guaranteed paradise, are in a enjoyable, a pleasant and a pleasurable occupation. They're busy. They're busy helping the poor. They're busy checking in and loving their parents. They're busy honoring their spouses. They're busy worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with complete and utter adab. They're busy focusing on the deeper realities of the Quran, never letting their hearts sway to anything besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're busy guarding their bodies and their limbs and everything, their intentions from disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from falling into that which displeasing Him. They're busy praying the salawat, making it on time, being at the masjid, fasting, not overeating, not overindulging, not doing anything which can affect and let the servant slip away from his complete focus on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what they're busy, but it's extremely enjoyable. It's extremely enjoyable, and they are the kings, right? ما لذة العيش إلا صحبة الفقراء هم الصلاة والسادات والأمراء. The pleasure of this life is nothing except spending time with the fuqara, those who are truly poor to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who are on the path towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hum salatin, they are the sultans and the masters and the amirs. Right? So, this is the path. And those who do not understand this and who haven't experienced it will never realize how pleasurable it is. Will never realize the pleasure of avoiding sins, the pleasure of dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that peace and tranquility that comes to the heart, that the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives those that He loves. They will never understand it. They've been busy by the temporal pleasures, by the pleasures that come and go, by the pleasures that are connected to their physical bodies and their lower instincts and aspirations, by the pleasures that involve the disgrace of others, right? This is the pleasures of the majority of the people. But these pleasures go, they fade away, they die, they never increase. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He never dies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He never diminishes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He never decreases. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is constantly there. So connect your pleasure, connect your love, connect your intent to one that never dies. And remove your connection from that which dies and fades away. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us tawfiq in these months, in these final days, to make us of those who enter His paradise and who are ascribed by and described by these qualities, that we are there with our families, with those that we love, that we are there with the prophets sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we receive this salutation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we enjoy it, that we love it, and that He sends it to us with the witnessing of His divine countenance. Jalla Jalaluhu wa ta'ala azamatuhu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your fast, it's Ramadan, and fulfill your intentions. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.